Power on. Bluetooth pairing. Bluetooth connected.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Corey Sims, what's up? Yeah, Corey, I turning on my YouTube to play some music in the background. Panda, thanks, man. It's next one of the batch. I was gonna start the light boxing, but I forgot I haven't finished this bottom panel, so. Yeah, Panda, I'm just started. Just right now. Barely 2 minutes in. Corey, my day's been fine. I just spent all day at work, and work is work. Just had dinner. I watched the movie The Rocketeer, which I haven't seen in a long time, which is a great show, great movie. Kiki, thank you. Appreciate that. The Rocketeer is a comic book character from the 80s that's set in a 1930s setting by a guy named Dave Stevens. Yeah, this is a comic book I'm drawing. Yeah, D-Man, I saw that he was doing. He doesn't announce them. He does them very randomly, so if I don't know, I don't know.
Walking my dog is great. Oh, want to play a steal tag?
Yeah, Panda. I mean, Chuck's. I mean, I guess you could say he's retired professionally, but you know, he was and is a professional inker. He knows what he's doing. He's done a lot of awesome stuff, and he's. I've told him, in my opinion, he's in my opinion in the running for best digital inker out there today, right now. Corey Sims, you like my comic reviews? Thank you. I appreciate that. I do my best to make them interesting, at least in part. I hope people are enjoying them. People seem to. Most of the time. There's the occasional person that thinks I suck, but that's okay. Panda even listening to all the Lightfold stuff? Yeah, there's quite a pile. And the thing about the guy is he never stops drawing, so there's always more stuff to do videos on. So he keeps providing. My video yesterday, it's almost like 2,500 views. It's doing pretty dang well in such a short time for my little channel.
Divine food for divine parents. Shiva Production Style.
Want to keep your hairline where it is? Through Hims.com, you can explore a range of options that work best for you, so you can grow visibly thicker.
Corey, you're watching my playlist on Silvestri Top Cow. Silvestri's he's the man. I'm actually flipping through some of his black and white work. I'm looking for kind of some inspiration on how to draw a certain kind of thing. worrying about it. I'm overthinking it. I believe he drew that yacht. I totally do. There wasn't much to it. It was just getting the curve right. He probably traced it, but then he didn't add anything else of substantial artistic value. I believe that he did, because it still sucks. Anybody else who's good would have drawn it better. He just got the shape of the bow correct, and I'm like, he probably traced it. So, you know, who's to say? I think he did. I just think he really slacked ass on it, because if you look at that picture of that yacht, it's not that complicated. It's just, like I said, it's all about him getting the shape of the hull right. And he probably just traced it and then moved on. Corey Singer on Savage Dragon 26. I need to get back to Dragon reviews. I spread them out because people don't seem to respond to them too much, but I'm doing them because I love them. But holy shit, do I... That book just gets better and better and better. Larson absolutely knew what he was doing on that book. Like, there's issues of Dragon where he meets Hellboy, which is my first introduction to Hellboy. They literally get swallowed by a giant Godzilla-type sea monster and crawl through his intestines and exit out through the monster's asshole. It's really funny.
You know what's smart?
Yeah, Panda, they don't get a lot of views, you know? They just... I don't know why, but they don't.
I shop online. I got pre-qualified for this thing.
Then the issues of Dragon, where Dragon goes to hell and he meets God, and God and Satan have a fist fight, and Satan kicks God in the nuts. It's so great. Yeah, Dragon's just, in my opinion, it's just great. It's the best Image comic of those early years. He did everything right, and this was the guy who knew what he was doing. He's like, I know how to make comic books, guys. Then, of course, he crossed over with the Turtles, and those were kind of fine. Yeah, where he teams up with the turtles. It was fun, and he made the turtles funny and very childlike, which they should be. Yeah, and Larson loves to draw big, strong guys kicking ass and punching, but he also knows how to craft the story and make you care about a character. Liefeld, like, pay attention. I haven't read any of those comics. IDW. I've never been interested in a Power Rangers comic book. Not for me.
Two trees are regrown for every tree used. Charmin.
30 Days of Night. I heard about those back in the day when they were out, and they're pretty hyper popular for a minute. Then they just kind of disappeared. I don't know what the story is. And they made a movie of it, right? That seemed to kind of do okay. You know, Panda, I've got a weird kind of relationship with the Power Rangers. When it first started, I thought it was the dumbest thing I'd ever seen in my life. This is so stupid. But my younger brother was into it. And so he kept watching it. And after a season or two, or I don't know how many, with the original crew on the TV show, I kind of started paying attention, and they kind of started getting interesting. And I was actually kind of a fan. I was shocked at how, like, these actors are kind of charming, and there's humor, and there's action that works. And for some reason, suddenly I was like, all right, I was into it. And then suddenly they just replaced 3 of the main actors because there was a contract dispute over money, because the studio was making billions of dollars and the actors weren't getting paid shit. And so they all made a pact to hold the line, and refuse to kind of work unless they got better contracts. But then some of them kind of flipped and stayed with the studio. The other ones who didn't got removed from the show and become significantly less interesting. But for a minute, it was charming. Yeah, you saw that documentary. Yeah, it's rough when a studio's making that much money, and those actors weren't making shit, like, microscopic amounts. It's terrible, and they absolutely deserve. They're the stars of the show, and the studio's like, yeah, well, guess what? You're off the show. Yeah, Pan, that was me too. The new actors, they were not interesting at all. Not a fraction as interesting as the 3 they replaced. And then they go and make that god fucking awful first live action movie, which I saw in theaters. And I wanted nothing more than to see the Zords, the giant mechas that they had in the show. This was like the second version of them. They changed to the Thunder Zords or whatever. And I wanted to see those on the big screen. It was going to look so cool. And then they changed it into these entire other versions that looked so stupid. I never bothered with the big budget movie that came out a couple years ago. My brother said it was good, but I was like, maybe if I catch it for free on streaming or something like that, But now I just don't give a fuck. I watched all the big ending fight scenes on YouTube. So I'm like, yeah, that was fine.
Disneyland's fourth 70th celebration, and everyone's excited.
Panda. Yeah, I was more of a how old was I when that show come out? I was 15, 16, 17, something like that when the original one come out. But yeah, Pink Ranger. I wanted to see her Pink Ranger parts. Was it an odd choice to make the Yellow Ranger the Asian girl? Because I remember some people saying, that's racist. They made the Black Ranger the black guy. The black guy's the Black Ranger. But I think the actor was like, boy, you better make me the Black Ranger. I'll punch you in the face if you don't let me be the Black Ranger. But of course, the actor who played the Yellow Ranger like got decapitated in a car accident. That sucked. And the Green Ranger killed himself like 2 years ago. That sucked. Yeah, Kimberly had the hots for him. Yeah. She wanted all up in his Green Ranger business. And I actually thought that storyline where, if you remember, where however it happened, but his powers were being drained or sucked away from him, and they didn't seem to have an answer to it. So he couldn't use his powers very often. He couldn't help out the crew as often as he wanted to. And it was kind of sad to watch him losing his powers, and he just couldn't do it. And then eventually he completely lost them. And I don't mind the White Ranger design, but I like the Green Ranger a lot better. And as silly as it was, I loved his little dragon dagger thing that turns into a flute that he could blow through. His metal mask and the Dragon Zord was a badass design. I love that thing. Yeah, it's a shame I'm listening to the soundtrack to Alien 3, at least for the minute. I might change it up here. We'll see. Commercial.
Daisy, mustard.
And I also really liked when the Dragon Zord would combine with parts of the other Rangers. Not the Red Dragon, not the Tyrannosaurus part, but I can't remember the name of which particular version it was. It wasn't a version you saw very often, but it was pretty badass. It was a really neat design. And then there was a part where, like, when Lord Zed actually came along, I actually thought his design was, like, really creepy awesome. Like, he looks like a guy that he's been skinned. Like a predator skinned him or something like that. So it's like this bloody, gross flesh. He shows up and he instantly is just like, I am Lord Zed, Emperor of all I see. I'm like, oh shit. And then they eventually find that massive dragon Serpentor. Was that what his name was? That giant, like, freaking dragon that was like this impossibly powerful giant dragon thing that they would fly around, and then they would always find some bullshit excuse for it to not work because it would have totally killed the Rangers. There was a lot of neat possibilities they were flirting with. But I thought Zed looked awesome, and his voice was awesome. Now, the character ended up being like a cackling retard, like every other villain. But, and then again, I wanted to see him in the Power Rangers movie. And then when you saw the trailers for it, Zed looked amazing. And like his gold was just shiny, reflective. And then they just do this Ivan Ooze fucking retard, who is the worst villain they could have possibly come up with. I was so mad at that goddamn movie. The only thing I liked was that hot girl Dulcia with like the half-naked body that gave the Rangers their ninja bullshit designs. Because that girl was hot. I think I remember that. Scorpina? I think so. But yeah, when that show first started, it looked like the dumbest thing I'd ever seen in my life. But it kind of got a hold of me for a minute, up until they ruined it. Master Dragon, how's it going? Panda, you went from Turtles to Power Rangers to Dragon Ball, then you had to pretend to not like that shit so you could get laid. Yeah. I was never getting laid anyway, so I just kept going with it. Maybe there's correlation there. I don't know. Master Dragon's a nerd, specifically around dinosaurs and Godzilla. Hey, that is all great stuff. I just recently rewatched the original Jurassic Park movies, and dinosaurs are awesome. And I found myself surprisingly enjoying those Godzilla Monsterverse movies. They just kind of got progressively more ridiculous and awesome at the same time, but I was into it. I'm like, all right, well, when's the next one? What's the next? Master Dragon, you read and memorized 5 encyclopedias of dinosaur information? That's a lot. Fighting panel here. I hate commercials. Shut the fuck up. They're all basically the same characters there, Corey Sims. Instead of having boring Heatwave, they should have had Spartan from Wildcats. They were the same guy, essentially. Like, the leader of the team who shot lasers from his hands and was like the stoic good guy who always did the right thing. It was just like the poor man's boring version of Cyclops with both of them. Spartan got interesting way later in the series when Joe Casey was writing it. He basically bonded with the essence of Void, so he wore a silver like business suit. He could teleport anywhere. His android body became Superman level indestructible, and he became like a staunch businessman trying to make the world a better place. Really interesting stuff. And Heatwave never got interesting until he got like possessed by a demon monster and died in this Cyberforce X-Men crossover. Like his best part is when he dies. Rest in peace, Val Kilmer.
You are. Okay. I'll be right there. Wow. That's amazing.
Your dream home is calling.
Counting on the winged avenger to deliver you from evil, aren't you, my friend? You can kill me? Maybe, maybe not. You could say we're of two minds on the subject. Johnny, my last Youngblood video had you cracking up. No, people seem to get a enjoyment out of it. Gotten pretty good view count, so I'm glad that it went over well. I was just speaking my truth, sir. And yeah, Nicole Kidman in Batman Forever might be the hottest Nicole Kidman ever looked. That's probably true. She could definitely get it. She wouldn't want it, but she could get it. Oh yeah, Panda, Cameron Diaz in The Mask. Man, I remember watching that movie, and when that girl walked through that door in that red dress, I was like, oh my God, where have you been all my life? Yeah, me bashing Liefeld, it's like her tradition. I'll know I've made it if he publicly calls me out for being a jealous asshole. Another clown on YouTube ripping on my work. That's when I'll know I've made it for real. If Liefeld acknowledges me. But I think he's too smart. He won't, because he knows all that will do is send attention my way. Johnny T, he did draw G.I. Joe. It was called, oh my God, what was that G.O.? It was just a couple of years ago. So yeah, he didn't draw it back in the day. Oh my God, what the hell was the name of that goddamn Liefeld G.I. Joe book? Dead Game, that's right. That's another book I gotta find so we can have a crack at it. Right, yeah, and I kind of thought that's what you meant, Johnny, and I get that for sure. I don't have any connection to G.I. Joe personally, so I don't care. But I definitely know what it's like to have something that you love and then have someone else come along and fuck it up. I think I've seen that. I think I might have actually seen the Cartoonist Kayfabe guys. I think they did a review of it, and that's where I saw it. And yeah, I like McFarlane's artwork, but he's got a style that doesn't work on everything for sure. Well, Corey Sims, I don't know if you've been following my channel or know what I'm doing, but I am literally doing a parody sequel to a Liefeld book, and his Blood Wolf character, that's this guy here. I've changed the names and kind of the design so I could just do a follow-up comic issue to a story he never finished and never will. So, but this is the Blood Wolf character here. This guy here and here. Except his name's Red Coyote in my book. But that's the nonsense I'm doing. Jeffrey, what's up? Always good to see the Australians show up. He just rode in on a roo. Jeffrey, I've got a stupid question because I don't know anything. Except kind of like cliche shit about Australia. But I'm sorry if this is a really stupid question, but are kangaroos used as any kind of like food source, like animals to slaughter to eat, or is that like not something that's done? They eat roux here? Like, really? Seriously? That is a thing? You can have a roux burger? Corey Sims, serious question. What's the better, Liefeld Supreme or Moore Supreme? Dude, there's no... That's... There's no comparison. Supreme was nothing until Alan Moore made him interesting. Because Liefeld had nothing interesting to say with Supreme. All he had was, here's a big guy who's basically Superman. And then that's all he had. He had nothing else to say about the character. And Alan Moore was like, I don't give a shit about your Supreme character. I do love Superman, though, so I'm going to take this opportunity to write a bunch of Golden Age kind of stories of Superman that I could never do otherwise.
world is in constant motion, and you
The bat signal is not a beeper. Mark Domowitz. Oh yeah, you're totally right, Panda. Batman Forever is watchable. It's silly, but it's fun and charming. Batman and Robin is like swimming through barf. Mike McMahon, how are you, sir? Swimming through barf. You know what, guys? I saw the coolest thing. I don't know. Just since we're talking about shit like this, I have to show you the coolest thing I've seen in a long time. Let me pull it up. I love to share these little gems of brilliance. Bear with me. I gotta find it. Don't look at the weird hot girl shit that I follow on my Instagram page. That's none of your business. All right, here we go. Let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. It's a RoboCop Terminator. Did anybody see that I put on my story? It's like a buddy cop team up. Hold on, let me back it up and get it done right. This is like the greatest thing ever. Oh, son of a bitch.
I think the final episode.
God damn it. All right.
I think the final episode.
Here we go. And they basically exterminate the entire human population. Like they're like no human activity. It's but the part where they're just like a cop duo, you know, going around not just taking out criminals but just everybody. I don't know. I'm sorry. I laughed so hard when I saw that. I've been watching it all day. But that's because I'm lame. Anyway, sorry. Back to the. Oh. I remember there being all these debates back and forth. Who would win in a fight, RoboCop or Terminator? I'm like, are you kidding? The Terminator would kill RoboCop. Like, no questions asked. RoboCop's kind of slow and lumbering, and the Terminator's a fast, deadly. That's fair, Panda. You're like, I don't have to look at this. I know what it looks like. Corey Sims, I don't even know what that means. That's some new youth hippie term. Oh, it's fun. Mess with me all day long. I don't care. I just don't know what it even means. So I guess I don't get the reference. I've seen it being thrown around here and there. I'm like, I'm not hip. I don't know what any of this means. So. Corey Sims, will I do a review of the Invincible War? It's already on the channel, sir. I did it maybe a year ago. I did the entire Invincible War storyline. It was like, what, 6 or 7 issues.
Domino's new Parmesan stuffed crust pizza tastes
So-
like never before. Because Domino's has never had stuffed crust before. Seriously.
Fucking commercials. But yeah, I've already got the Invincible War up. I know I was enjoying the animated show, and so I'm like, well, I'm going to do a review and spoil the shit out of something for people who maybe don't know of the crazy shit that's coming if they follow the storyline the way that they are so far in the animated show. The stuff that's coming is so cool. What kind of women do I like? Big booty bitches and them big booty bitches. I like Adam Hughes' women's, or Mark Silvestri's. Yeah, Red Monica was right. Madeira leaned into that. We're gonna make her have a sizable, you know, anatomical asset here.
You wouldn't settle for Bateman when there's Batman.
Solve the riddle and be free.
What is dusk?
You don't have to answer the 4 question.
What is lasagna?
What is love?
Oh, God.
Wrap your sweaty palms around this. Yeah, they were not being fair to us kids who were just, you know, have all these strange urges. I was saying earlier, I just watched The Rocketeer this evening, and checking out Jennifer Connelly there back in the day was like one of the most perfect women in the history of ever. And she's still smoking hot today. Some fine looking ladies in Utah. Panda. Yeah. In Labyrinth. Yeah, she was only a teenager then. But yeah, I'd hold the hell out of her hand, right? That's all we knew. But yeah, and then suddenly she's in The Rocketeer. And then she was in that movie Career Opportunities. Anybody remember that one? It's kind of a throwaway, stupid comedy, but good lord. You know, Dark City, everyone loves that movie, and I watched it once, and I did not get the appeal. I couldn't even tell you anything about that movie. Not one thing. I was like, that's not that great. Why did everyone love this so much? But yeah. You guys remember that movie Life Force? I never saw it, but then somebody was saying like one of the most memorable things was this like incredibly hot babe that was in this movie who was naked like most of the time. So like an upstanding young man. I've got to go Google this and see what she looks like. And I was like, holy Lord, this had to have been one of the hottest women in the history of ever back in that day. Like, that was something else.
Daisy, Mark Jacobs.
You had a thing for dark eyes, dark hair. I'm kind of into dark hair, dark eyes kind of guy myself. That's me for sure. Angie Harmon and Bordello of Blood. There you go. Salma Hayek dancing on that table in From Dusk Till Dawn. Dude, Egg Test Tube just got the Blu-ray a couple months ago. Great movie. Originally it was going to be called Space Vampires. Are you talking about that Life Force flick? I've still never seen it. I just watched a couple of parts. You know the ones. Yeah, I think D-Man's right. I think he meant Angie Everhart, the redhead, right? She was something else. And Panda, yeah, my introduction to Salma Hayek in Desperado, when she's crossing that street and the cars crash behind her, I was like, oh my Lord, look at this woman. Perfect features, long dark hair. And I've been in love ever since. I watched some of the From Dusk Till Dawn TV series. It was funny because it was like exactly the movie, at least in the beginning, but just drawn out and spread out a whole bunch more. I kind of was enjoying it. I think that was around the time when my marriage started falling apart, and so I was required to stop watching anything fun and doing anything fun because it was time to be miserable for 3 straight years. But I never got back to it, but it looked kind of interesting. Kind of by the same token, I remember the first time when I watched the Antonio Banderas Zorro. I thought I'd seen a beautiful woman in my life until I saw Catherine Zeta-Jones in that movie. And you know what the crazy thing is like it wasn't about like that super hot body like some of the other girls, you know, not to be, you know, male pigs, but it was all in her face, her features, her hair, her voice. I was just like, this is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. Like, I am enthralled, kind of the same way I was with Salma Hayek, but a little bit more so. Your dad and your brother are losing this shit, right? She was just that voice of hers, this soft, feminine, you know. She's what, from New Zealand or something like that, right? But I don't know if she was trying to, what kind of accent she was putting on, but that voice that she